Yes, there we are. Once again, back to normal.
Yep.
I swear this isn't a bonus episode.
It has been
Oh
a
wait, hold
minute.
on. I'm listening to us in. Oh wait, hold on. I don't want feedback. No, delete,
Are you
delete.
kidding?
What?
What a start to the episode. How is
Yeah,
everyone doing?
I
As
was
my
just trying to share it on Facebook, and all of a sudden it just wants to start playing myself. That
nice.
sounded dirty.
Oh man,
Oh
as my
man.
guy is here currently situating himself, man. How is everyone doing? I am one of your hosts to this amazing podcast, PS Comics. I love you. I'm one of your hosts, J.R. Kabakuman, aka the Dark King. As my buddy here gets situated, we are coming at you on live on a Saturday night here in sunny California, hella hot California, which is currently going to be 1 second here in sunny Palms or Coachella Valley. Is it currently 90 degrees at 7 o'clock at night? Good God. But I digress. My other host, the host of the most here, my suit man, it's my Batman, I guess.
We always
The
said you're
one,
Batman. Yeah.
the one, the only.
The voice of reason at voice of reason 23 on all social media platforms. What is up, my friends? I think JR and I both claim to be tech geniuses when it comes to this stuff. But having been, worked at Best Buy, I've been in love with tech my entire life.
Uh-huh.
I cannot figure out how to get universal control to work on on my devices, and apparently I can't master the volume button on my iPad, and that was me listening to myself because I'm just so vain. I do got to say, gotta do a little. I know we usually save the flex pool for the end of the show.
Yeah.
But I got a flex pool
Okay.
that came in the mail from Amazon this past week.
Okay.
And it's the newest addition to my arsenal, but we'll be using it, I'm sure, when we go out and about and do stuff. Definitely this will be taken to Comic-Con in San Diego, which we're going to talk about WonderCon here in just a second.
Sure.
But this is from the DJI family of devices.
Okay.
And it's a cool little deal. You probably see a lot of vloggers and other social media
Personnel.
what do they call them? Influencers and content creators out there using something similar to this. And this is actually where I got it from. And I want to use this as a shout out to a fellow podcaster, a fellow blogger, fellow tech enthusiast. I got this from. I get this from, but I first found out about this device from content creator named iJustine, who I've been watching for years. And unfortunately for Justine, she's been a little. I don't want to say under the weather because that's not the right terminology, but she's been in the hospital the last couple of weeks. We want to send some well wishes towards her. She had a blood clot in her shoulder that apparently was headed towards her lungs, which can be serious. Blood clot's not something to mess around with. And it's funny is in the last couple of weeks, two major celebrities, Justine being one of them, and another one was, I think her name was Brittany Coda. I can't remember her name, but she was actually here in the desert. Playing in what's known now as the Chevron Championship, used to be known as the Nabisco Championship, the old Dinosaur.
Yeah.
And she had a blood clot, I think, in her leg or so. No, it was in her. I'm sorry, that was also in her arm. And she has been hospitalized. So be safe out there. Take good care of yourself. I know JR takes good care of himself. Goes to the gym, eats right. I do the same thing.
Hey, just kind of sorry to cut you off, man. But just to say, man, I think I told people this already. In 2016, I had a stroke because of blood clot.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Had a stroke. I was fit. I think one of the fittest times in my life. I was like 20. I was 225 pounds or something like that, 230, right? Wasn't really lifting. I was eating pretty healthily. It was like a couple days after my birthday. Had a stroke. It was an ischemic stroke, so it wasn't like the massive strokes, but like the left side of my face was numb, was drooping. Right, that was the main indicators. People thought it was Bell's palsy things because I was lifting heavy. We go to the ER and they found like, no, man, you had a stroke.
That's crazy. It's funny. I not funny, but I mean, just
Crazy. It's crazy.
Odd is Jared and I have known each other for like 5 years, and I've never known that. And again, disregard the mess around. But this is the newest member, not
Oh,
supersede
here's the
Jared.
thing.
Sorry, this is the
Whip around. Whip around.
DJI awesome
Oh,
OM5.
nice.
This is kind of the coolest thing. I don't know. I'm just easily amused. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, we're gonna be using this. You can actually do a little. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you have the privilege of seeing this. But if you're listening to us at a later time on the podcast format, it's essentially it's an overpriced gimbal. But cool little joke, little tripod action there. Been using this the last couple days at the gym, helping my brother create some content for his business. He is a doctor of physical. He's a doctor of physical therapy.
Oh, nice. Is it one of those like those weight measuring things? Not weight, like it counterbalances when you like move it around.
Yeah. So it. I just turned it off. But yeah. So again, for the benefit of those watching, it's kind of cool that it actually, when it's fully on, it actually will follow. You can do facial recognition. But yeah, when you are videotaping, I launched the DJI app. Everyone's like, I know people have complained about it, saying like, oh, why do you have to use their own app? But yeah, it does. And I just realized, wow, I cracked my screen again. This is the third time in a year that is.
Oh man,
Best Buy is gonna hate me. I swear.
I love it.
So yeah,
I love it.
Newest part of the Character Broadcasting family is this OM5. You can get it on Amazon or anywhere you buy your DJI
stuff.
devices.
Hopefully, the next thing that's gonna be added to this podcast, hopefully when you get some money into it, is possibly a Rodecaster Pro. So that's something I'm.
Yes. I know that I was talking to a couple other friends that do podcasts that I've known doing radio for years, and they asked me if I had gotten the Rodecaster yet, and we were this close. And without getting into too much detail, I came in on some extra money at the end of 2021. We had a really good year at my other business. And I did the responsible thing. I paid off some bills and
slinging that wood.
Yeah, slinging that wood. And I just, I made a couple of little silly purchases. I mean, this being one of them. I bought some stuff for my grill. By the way, at BBQ of Reason 23. And I thought, I didn't think about it until after the fact. I'm like, shoot, I should have bought that Rodecaster.
I mean, we'll get to it eventually, man. It's I definitely want it myself because like it's also good. One, as much as I love this mic right here, I'm using the HyperX for like a good solid 2 years.
It's a great mic, underrated mic.
Yeah, it's. I intend to possibly get another one because like I do want to do live interviews, right?
Yep.
At the end, or like, but also I also want to get like an XLR mic too, just for more sound quality type of stuff. And I would like to have ones because it also connects great eventually, hopefully, knock on mother effing wood, when I do get, into streaming a lot more. And when I do get into possibly a PC and all this other stuff. It just, sucks to live right now in this type of climate when everything's super freaking expensive. And so, I mean, when gas is like nearly $6 to $7 a gallon, and it takes me about, $40 just to get to, from one side of this valley to literally the other side. Right. And so it's crazy nowadays. And so that does put a toll on things. But we will, I know for me, I do definitely want to get you a Rodecaster Pro or something equivalent to that. I think it's the Gold XLR. I think I'm also looking at as well. But yeah, for the podcast specifically, when we do inevitably do interviews with with a bunch of the stores around here, specifically Chick Store, Comic Asylum, Sid's shop. We're definitely gonna go see Interstellar, as well as a new comic book shop that opened up I think like a year ago, down my a couple like streets down from me. And from lo and behold, it's owned by it's run by a brother of one of my sister's friends. So that's crazy. And so
a lot of people getting in on that. They've seen the success that that Sid and Chick and Steven have had.
Yeah, it's definitely you have to get into if you want to sell comic books, for a living. It's definitely a passion project type of things. Where like you definitely want to get into it. It is a lot of money, I will say. But hey, man, you get a community around you, and it's fun. It's fun. It can be fun. So
Well,
overall, yeah. What's up?
thanks for the shout out on Twitch, but no, I'm good. I don't need free viewers. I don't need any Russian bots following us
What's going on?
on Twitch. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, it's back to normal. A
Thank you.
scripted show for us today. Jr. has been working on this feverishly over the last like
Mm,
48 hours,
yeah, yeah.
and
I get
we've
it
got a
better.
lot to get to over the last couple of weeks. So we've
I
kind
know.
of hinted at over the course of the last couple of shows with Moon Knight, which has been fabulous so far, in my opinion. And you can check out our two bonus shows anywhere you download podcasts, or you can stream them live on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. Go to our Facebook or go to our pages. Just search out PS Comics I Love You. And then coming to YouTube, I will make a playlist like I do with all the bonus shows of all of the episodes so that you can stream them that way. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We're talking about everything from Ezra Miller to Will Smith to Disney, Thor Love and Thunder, the
Mm-hmm.
Netflix shows, that's what they're called, or the Defenders saga, as people on Disney Plus like to call it. And of course, it's the con season. We are getting into it already. The 2022 con season kicked off last week in Anaheim with none other than Comic Con International's own, not San Diego, it's WonderCon, or as we call it, San Diego Comic Con Junior.
Yep.
And unfortunately, for me, I was not able to attend like I was in 2019,
Mm.
where I believe I hit all the major cons that year. I think I ended up going to 2019. I did WonderCon. I
Good.
did. I
San
did.
Diego.
I did San Diego.
Yep.
My family and I went to um, Comic Con Revolution in Ontario.
Yep.
We went to Amazing Con in Las Vegas.
Yep.
I worked PS Comics Expo. I worked Comic Con Palm Springs.
That's right.
And I think that was about it, actually. But
Was that 2019 or 2018?
was it 2018?
I don't remember.
Well, I don't know. I have to look it up. I went to a ton of cons one year. It was insane.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, WonderCon. We teased this on Wednesday that JR was going to give us a rundown of WonderCon.
Possibly, yeah.
But there's a story that goes to JR getting to WonderCon last Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And do you have a story to tell, my friend?
Oh man, it was interesting. So I was still very much on the fence of going, right? Because like quite literally before that, I sunk in some money to buy something online that I honestly shouldn't have. But then I was one of those things like, fuck it, let me just check, right? And I want it. I had to pay for it. I'm thinking like, oh, dude, all the money I could have spent to go to WonderCon, right? It wasn't that much anyway. But like, oh, it's went to this thing, so maybe I'm not going. But my sister is going, right? She bought a ticket months in advance. She's like, I'm gonna go right after I go to work. I'm like, are you serious? You're gonna, my sister is a nurse by trade, and that she works night shift, and so after getting done with her strenuous, crazy like 12 to 13-hour night shift, she comes home. Yeah, she comes home, takes a shower, and is gonna go straight up like, I can't let you do that by yourself, right? You're gonna freaking like fall asleep. You're gonna fall asleep at the wheel or something. So and like, you're gonna just no, it's not gonna be a good time. I'm gonna go with you. And she's like, well, the worst thing that can happen is, if that happens, I'll just buy a hotel. I'll just buy a hotel there, and I'll just sleep. I'll just sleep that night. I'm like, are you serious? You're gonna try to find a hotel in Anaheim on a weekend where quite literally Disneyland is right down the street, and you're gonna try to fit. And then not only that, but you're gonna after you spend how much money on WonderCon. No, I'm going with you. So we get ready. We're gonna go, and quite literally on the way, like I'm thinking, like, all right, cool, we use whether car. You use my car. You can use your car or my truck. No, let's go use my car. She said, and it's better gas mileage and all that. We go there. We go down the is it 111? No, no. We go down. I forget which freeway it is. Out of Palm Springs, and about 5 to 10 minutes into it, I hear this little clicking in the back seat in the back of her car. I'm like, what the hell is that? That's weird. And like it's like constantly getting louder and louder and louder. I'm like, what the hell is this? I tell her to pull over, right on the side of the road near Yucca, right? And I check down there and I see something freaking sticking out from underneath her bottom right wheel well, right? Her passenger side back wheel well. I'm like, what the hell is this? No, we gotta go home. We gotta go back. And she's like, oh, she's so sad about it, but like I keep on hearing it. So we turn off the music on the way back and you just hear it, like just like rhythmic, like clanging at the bottom of her truck, like our car. I'm like, oh shoot, what if something falls out? We go out, go back, we look under the car, and yeah, something's like literally hanging from underneath her freaking thing. And she sent she showed it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what it is. We don't know what the hell it is, right? We showed a picture to my cousin, who is a mechanic, and but he's not, but he wasn't at work, and he's like, oh, she's freaking on the verge of tears because she wants to do this. She after a long work day and wanted to just go to WonderCon and have fun and do all that stuff, but she can't now because and then she's looking like all this other shit, like I gotta pay for this, whatever the hell this is, right? She's like on the verge of crying in tears and shit. And then I look under there, I'm like, and my cousin texts us back, like, oh, you could just take that out. It's nothing too serious.
Nice.
I'm like, well, just tear it out. Like, yeah, you just take it out. It's just it's just a splash guard, right? It's the splash guard for underneath, and you can take it out and we put it back in, right? And so we're at my parents' house and we're having this conversation. And she's like on the verge of tears, like, oh, I just want to go and sleep now. I just want to go and sleep. Whatever. I'm tired. And my dad's like, no, just take it out right now. He takes it out, right? I'm trying to get her to laugh and everything, and we get it out, and she's in a better mood now. I'm like, and she's like, I don't want to go though. And I look at her and goes, here's what's gonna happen. I know you to the point where like if you don't go, you're gonna bitch about the next week.
Yep.
You're gonna bitch about it and cry about it and look at other stuff because that's how you are. Like seriously, like just go. We'll go right now. Like okay, we'll go. And then we went. We got there. We got at WonderCon around 11 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock. We were supposed to get there much earlier because
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I mean, she got off at like at 8, right?
Yeah.
She got off at 8 and then got ready, went down there. I told her like, hey, we just take my truck. Fuck it, just take my truck. She's like, no, just take the car again. And then we got there, make great time, and yeah, it was a good day. It was a really good day. It was an expensive day as well.
I'm sure it was. JR does not go cheap to Comic Cons.
Oh god, I shouldn't have. Honestly, looking back, I shouldn't have done it. But at the same time, it's WonderCon, man. WonderCon is like one of the best places, honestly, for me.
It really is.
Like, bro, like it's for those who don't know WonderCon but want to go to San Diego, the best. And for those who have gone to San Diego, right? Because it's both these consensus, right? WonderCon is that great like middle ground of like you don't want the big cons, right? Or like if you want the big cons, right? This WonderCon is the place to get kind of get you ready for that. Or if you don't like the big cons, WonderCon is a great place for that as well. It's one of those things where like you go in, the big these are the major vendors out there. We do get like big names there. I think who was it? The guy I forgot the actor's name, but it's the guy who played he was in Justice League, right? Not Justice League. Damn it, Suicide Squad. There you go, Polka Dot Man.
Oh yeah. He was also in he's also in Ant-Man.
He's in Ant-Man as well.
Yeah, he played Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad.
He was there. He was there that Sunday, and sadly, I wasn't able to get a picture with him or talk to him or get a signature because his line was long. Great for him. Great for freaking him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, vendors were there, dude. It was popping on a Sunday. It was popping. It felt like a Friday.
You were saying that, and that is the testament to WonderCon, and we all went as a group in I think it was 2019.
It was 2019.
I remember
twice. We went there.
I've only been once. I've only been to WonderCon once. And the oh my gosh. And I think they were going to offer me a job in 2020. And of course it didn't happen. But
yeah, I would
The
take that.
Jared nailed it right on the head. Is that WonderCon is a great way to dip your toes into a big con. You can
Absolutely.
go to Comic Con Revolution, and it's a great little con. It's a
Yeah.
great little town con.
Yeah.
Indio one. I always say like there's different levels. Indio Fantasia Con is a typical local comic book convention.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-room show. The panels are all in one room. The vendors are all in one room. The food is all in one room.
Yep.
And it's fitting that it was at the fairgrounds here in town, and it's a typical. It's what you would find at a local comic book convention. It's a true comic book convention. Comic-Con Palm Springs, a little bit above that. It's still a local con, but it's in a convention center in
bigger names.
Bigger names.
Yeah.
They had Stan Lee. They had
Frank Miller out of nowhere.
They had J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah.
They had
was it Miller? No, it was the other dude. I forgot his name at the moment, but he makes.
Frank Miller showed up out of nowhere, and so was the guy that created Deadpool.
Okay, yeah. Him. But like, I'm also talking about who's the one who made Spawn. I forgot his name, man.
Oh, McFarlane.
McFarlane was there. He showed up.
Yeah. So that's what's kind of cool about Palm Springs is it's almost kind of like, and this will be a segue. It's almost kind of like the night after WrestleMania, someone's gonna pop up, and but like I said, WonderCon's a great show. If you want to go to San Diego Comic-Con and you can't get in, and I get it, you're not gonna find Hall H anywhere else but San Diego. You're not gonna find Ballroom 20 anywhere else but San Diego. You're not gonna find the Masquerade anywhere else but San Diego.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to get that big con experience and you're dedicated to going to the exhibition hall and getting autographs and going to Artist Alley, that is a great stepping stone as WonderCon.
I will say this too, kind of ending off on it, is like WonderCon is the places where like for collectors, right?
Absolutely.
Granted, we've talked about collecting specifically, the convention prices, right? And they're called convention prices for a reason, right? They probably get overpriced, but at the same time, if you're from a smaller town or if you're from a place where you don't really scour out for these books, conventions like WonderCon, man, you get these people coming out of the freaking woodwork, that sell these crazy books, man. You might not see.
Yeah, you could definitely get better prices at WonderCon than San Diego and stuff like that.
I mean, San Diego, I understand the convention prices now, right? When going there, because the amount of money it takes for you to just, if you were a vendor, to buy a booth, right, is insane, dude. You're talking about in the 10Ks, possibly even more, right?
It's like a mortgage almost.
It's crazy. It's insane, and it's sad in a sense because like we've like you said before, that and we talked about in previous podcasts where we had a lot of vendors, they pull out on San Diego because it's just not beneficial anymore. Because even though they've been going there for 20 plus years before the booms of the big Marvel movies, or even I think it was Twilight that blew the door off everything for San Diego. It was good for San Diego, but then bad for like those who've been supporting it for 30, 40, 50 plus years, man, when it was nothing. And so, but yeah, going to that still though, WonderCon. Great time, great place, man.
And the best place about it is like WonderCon is like going into one building, and going into one building and finding 10 comic book stores.
Yeah,
because you're going to find some great artists. You're going to have easier access. I will say the big names, you still are going to have to put in some work, and it's not going to be, it's not 100% for sure.
Yeah,
but with WonderCon, your odds are a little bit better in your favor.
Not only that,
than going to San Diego, especially
also
when it comes to the lottery.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Ryan Kincaid, man. Saw him that Sunday. Cool guy, man. Always freaking cool guy. Also saw Stranger Comics. Freaking big shout out to them, man. I love those guys, man. They always take care of us.
Yeah, check it out. Go to JR's Instagram page, also not JR Comics 42, and he posts some cool links from was it Stranger Comics? Is that what it was?
Stranger Comics. Ryan Kincaid was awesome. We also visited P Dots Comics, who was there. It was funny because that's technically Javel's friend, right? he gets a lot of stuff, man. Saw Elvin Comics there as well. And so a bunch of these like guys that you see on Instagram that like has a big following, you see them there.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. But yeah, man, going like you said though, to segue into possible WrestleMania, man.
WrestleMania, yeah. What a weekend it was. It is essentially kind of become
2 days.
like
Mhm.
it's 2 days. Which I want to get your opinion on it. Um,
So
what did you think of WrestleMania going to 2 days this year?
good. I mean, some people could see it. Some people could see it as a as like a like, oh, they're trying to get more money out of it type of stuff. But at the same time, for me, man, it's like WWE has become such a big global phenomenon. It has been for years, and they got a lot of freaking stars, a lot of them now, right?
Yeah,
Where not where it was the dream for a lot of wrestlers to wrestle at WrestleMania. Now
yeah,
for 2 days to expand it to hopefully grow more in just expanding not the company, but like the overall mythos of WrestleMania, as well as like being fans. Great, 2 days, and it was where was it at this year?
it was in Dallas. Is at Jerry World AT&T Stadium for the second time ever.
I will say this
Um,
though. I will say this. First day was better than second day for me.
yeah, first day had its moment. Or I mean, second day had its moments. And did you watch the entire?
No, I caught some highlights, all that stuff. Like, granted, there was some. I mean, it's been already a bit of time. Who was it? Oh, it was Stone Cold versus who at the end?
Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens was the main event
That was
on
good
on
on the first
Saturday
day.
night on
Yeah,
WrestleMania Saturday.
that was fun.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Kind of what I expected, but also exceeded my expectations. Honestly, was not my favorite match of the night. It was probably my second favorite of the match of the night because
Who was
my
your first?
first favorite match of the night
Mhm.
was
Come on.
Seth freaking Rollins versus the American Nightmare Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes
Oh, that was
making
good.
his return to WWE
That was
after
good.
being after negotiating his release from AEW some 3 months ago that
Mhm.
shocked the world when one of the executive vice presidents of AEW resigned, asked for his release, and signed with the WWE
Mhm.
amidst many rumors that it was all a swerve and that he was actually going to go back to AEW and show back up at one of their big events. That did not happen. And yeah, the American Nightmare is back on WWE. And
Yeah.
it was great. I'll be honest, I was never a gigantic Cody Rhodes fan.
Mhm.
When when he inducted his dad, of course, the late great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, into
Mhm.
the Hall of Fame, he does have that speech impediment, much like his father did. And I
Yeah.
just said, this kid doesn't have it. It's just he'll never get over that. And it's not fair for me to say that, but just being a wrestling fan for so many years, it didn't something just didn't click, and he didn't have a good look. And then he got signed and he worked his way up. And I loved seeing him when he worked with Ted DiBiase Jr.
Yeah.
and Randy Orton, and I can't remember
That's
who
right.
else it was. And it was
That was a while back.
it
Damn.
was a Legacy, as I think it was called. The
Yeah.
group was called,
Yeah.
and it was a great gimmick. And then they just didn't know what to do with him, and then he ended up being Stardust. And
Yeah.
much
That
like
one.
his dad and much like his brother, he got it over though. It got over, and then he just asked for his release and got out and
It,
went.
yeah, I remember a couple of conversations about that where you had that where like he got over with it, but at the same time it's like he doesn't want to be typecasted into the Goldust persona, because like his brother said too, he hates it. He hates his fucking persona. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to continue to do more with it. And so I understood why he wanted to leave, because like he don't want to be left in a gimmick that you kind of hate, right?
yeah,
And like just thinking about like what if Rock would have stayed Rocky Maivia,
yeah,
or if Stone Cold Stars stayed as the ringmaster, right? There's like these these gimmicks that even though they possibly could get over, man, you just like don't want to do. And but yeah, him coming back, man, seeing how he has continued his long standing persona now, which I do like. I think that came from was it what do you call it, dude? What's the Japanese promotion is called again? Ring of something? Ring of Fame?
no, you're thinking about New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan. Where I think it started there, where this continued persona of just being one person multiple promotions. They did it with oh man, I forgot the freaking names, man. But they're all now in the AEW. Um,
Oh, they were
all of them. The
well,
famous
I know. I don't know if Cody and the Bucks were part of the group, but they were in New Japan, and the
the
group
Young Bucks
there
were
was
playing
called the
each other.
Bullet Club.
Yeah, Bullet Club. Yeah, those guys.
But
But
the
like,
Bullet Club um,
it was those guys. It was the Young Bucks.
well,
It
the
was
Bucks started over there.
yeah.
Cody went over there for a spell, and I think they called themselves they called themselves the Elite. That's what it was.
Hmm.
Because the Bullet Club was Finn Balor, that we know him by now,
Yeah.
the Good Brothers, which was Doc Gallows,
Yeah.
and I can never remember the other guy's name. And then
The current
it
champion,
was and AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
And
It was also someone else too. Who was the current champion of AEW? Like the main guy,
oh, that's right, Kenny Omega.
Omega. Yeah,
Well, the current AEW champion is Hangman Adam Page.
that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes were over in New Japan, and then they saw a huge um, surge in the independent circuit with
Oh,
Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling also really kind of ticking up. And they used to put up their the ultimate independent show where they completely booked their own show, and all these guys came from. It was almost like I said it was almost like the perfect. It was like the WrestleMania of like a
all the
tribute
underground.
show.
Yeah,
Well,
all the
because
underground.
back in the '90s, they used to have these things called tribute shows where they
Yeah.
would get guys to come in, like someone would pass away, and they want to raise money for a foundation or for their kids, and so they would wrestle a tribute show. I think there was one like they did for. I want to think. I can't remember who exactly it was, but anyways, and federations like the WWE, WCW, ECW, New Japan, all the different territories would say, okay, fine, yeah, just don't do anything stupid. We'll let Bret Hart, who's our champion, go appear and stuff like that. So that's what the first, I think it was All In was what it was called. And they called it All In because they put all their money in. Of course, the show sold out in like 15 minutes or something like that. But no, going back to Cody, wasn't a fan. Watched his match against his brother Dustin, aka Gold Dust, at I don't know if it wasn't All In, it was Double or Nothing. That was the first AEW pay per view. It was after they
Yeah.
decided they're going to start their own federation, and they crowned the first AEW champion there. John Moxley debuted, and Cody faced Dustin, and I was like, okay, this kid's got it. And I
Yeah.
never fully invested in AEW, but I liked Cody. I thought he was a good wrestler,
Yeah.
and
I feel.
um,
Yeah. I feel though that's like one of the big, not stigmas, but one of the more negative things about specifically WWE is that how they really do stifle like the outlook of certain stars, where like they can, stars that are famous and have like some certain level of world renown elsewhere are kind of, freaking thrown to the back burner, or was given like horrible storylines in WWE. I think of Cody Rhodes. I think of to a certain extent Finn Balor. I think of freaking uh, granted AJ has kind of broken that norm as well. But like I also think of who else, man? It was a bunch of champions before when it was Impact as well. I think of Samoa Joe. I think of a bunch of people that can be great stars, but then they're not the it, or not they don't have the look specifically
WWE.
for WWE at the time, right? Where
Yeah.
I remember when AJ Styles was big in Impact, right? But at that same time, in WWE, they Vince still wanted big burly dudes that are like 6'8", but can do like two backflips, right? And do these crazy Brock Lesnar type of shit. And that just wasn't it. AJ wasn't the guy to specifically to look at. Wasn't the Vince McMahon type of guy. And if AJ was in WWE at the time, he would have been back. He would have been, definitely held back. I feel that was the biggest argument per se with with Oh my god, dude, what's his? I forgot his name. I'm horrible right now. Pipe bomb.
What's that?
Pipe bomb. He's
Oh,
currently
CM Punk.
it was CM Punk, right? That was his thing. Like, dude, I'm hot right now. This person is hot right now. You should let them continue to be hot and stop pushing old dudes like fucking like Triple H and these guys who are part timers who come in once a year, to sell your shit. When the biggest guy right now is Brian Daniels, right? During the whole,
Danielson.
yeah, during the whole his whole Yes era type of stuff, right? And he definitely should have had a WrestleMania event prior to way before the one when he was in in a triple threat. So just like I see that aspect where like, yeah, Cody Rhodes, he didn't look the part at the time because I feel like, yeah, the storyline for him was just horrible and the writers at WWE at the time was just fucking trash. I'm totally honest with you.
Yeah.
And so, but other than that, man, uh, other than that, it was good.
Well,
Good WrestleMania. It was decent.
like I said, I liked the Austin match.
Mhm.
I definitely liked the Cody versus Seth Rollins match.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely, even though it wasn't definitely the best match, freaking Tribal Chief, right?
yes, Roman Reigns unifying the championships. He
Yeah.
is the WWE undisputed Universal Champion, longest name ever.
Yeah, man.
I think inevitably their goal is to um, eliminate one of the belts. And I've always said this is that if they don't want to recognize the rest of the world in wrestling and just compete amongst themselves, that's fine. The
Mhm.
way I would do it, the way if I were booking the territory, if I were booking WWE,
Yeah.
I would book it this way. You have one heavyweight champion,
Yeah.
you have one women's champion.
Okay.
Okay. And those two are, quote, traveling champions, which means they are, if as long as you're women's champion or the heavyweight champion, you get to go back and forth between SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. The rest of it is all you draft a roster, that's your roster.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would put the US Championship on one show and the Intercontinental Championship on another show. And then I would put the tag team titles on one show. And I would bring in my opinion, I would bring back the Cruiserweight
I was
Championship
about to say, yeah.
and put that on another show. So what you do is you create some exclusivity and you create a little competition. You want to see great tag team action. You want to see some great teams work together. Watch Monday Night Raw, okay? And you can also see Ricochet, who's the Intercontinental Champion, or you can watch Friday Night SmackDown, the home of the cruiserweights. You want to see some high flying action. You want to see crash test dummies. Then tune in to Friday Night SmackDown. And also, by the way, we have I don't even know who the fuck the U.S. champion is right now.
I would have put honestly the cruiserweights in NXT because
Well, I
those
think
guys are
I know that
crazy as
the
is.
cruiserweights still technically have their own show, which I think airs either on YouTube or
Mm.
on Peacock, and that is, of course, 205 Live.
Yep.
And I gotta imagine that 205 Live. But the problem is that how can you do an entire show of cruiserweights? You made that you don't create. There's no exclusivity there. You got to make. You got to, and also one of the things that really hurt WCW is a lot of the guys like Dean Malenko, like Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, maybe not so with Perry Saturn, but Chavo Guerrero, uh, Rey Mysterio, Juventud. A lot of the luchas is they were labeled as, quote, cruiserweight guys.
Mm.
And so that's the problem with 205 Live is that they're, quote, cruiserweight guys, but those are guys that could technically compete for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
They could, maybe they could go for the U.S. the U.S. Championship. But I really think the way they've booked it, the U.S. Championship, it really is because that's what it was in back in the NWA days. It was the United States Heavyweight Championship, and the Intercontinental title is a workers' belt. So you could have, and then you have Roman Reigns jump back and forth if he wants to compete against Seth Rollins on Raw. He's got to go to Monday Night Raw, and you have that, and you create this traveling champion. And I get that you want to create exclusivity to WWE and they want to create their own talent, but they've got to get over this. And I think I would love to see Vince kind of allow his champion, aka like the old NWA, like have the WWE be the new NWA and have them go compete somewhere else. Have them compete against AEW. Have them go compete in New Japan. But Vince won't do it. So, but whatever. Yeah. Real quick, speaking of WrestleMania, we teased this about a week or so ago. I put my top 10 on. We didn't hear from you, JR. I know you're not as big of a wrestling fan maybe as I am, but you definitely have your heart in the squared circle. What are some of your all-time? Well, maybe not time. You can name 10, but what are some of your all-time favorite WrestleMania matches?
Specifically, man, there's been a couple. I mean, definitely ladder match with HBK and Razor. That's up there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a classic. Oh, but also like, I don't know. I don't want to. I mean, the final match with Rock and Stone Cold when Rock was Hollywood Rock was decent.
Yeah.
But specifically because that was one of like the better like last marquee matches for like that, right? Because I think quite like that was that quite after that one, a couple years after that one, Rock went straight to Hollywood and Stone Cold I think got an injury where he was all foreshadowed.
Well, that was it. WrestleMania 19 was his last match.
That was it. Other than this one, so hey,
well,
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you also can't fucking forget Hardy Boys versus. It was the TLC. It was the first.
Yeah. So there are people don't forget too. There were two versions of that match.
Yeah.
The first one, technically the first match was technically a tag team ladder match.
Yeah,
and that was at WrestleMania 16, aka WrestleMania 2000 in Anaheim. And then at SummerSlam, that year, they did the first TLC match, that was again the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian.
Yep.
And then they did it TLC 2 was at WrestleMania 17, and people really have gravitated that match. And it's a great match.
Yeah. But the first table match, I mean, the first ladder match was phenomenal.
Yeah. So, I mean, just real quick, and we can you can throw in some names too, but here's my top 10 favorite matches. I'm not saying that these are the greatest matches. These are my personal favorite. I love these matches.
Mm-hmm.
And in order from 10 to 1. And of course, you can see the photos from these matches on our Instagram page at PS Comics I Love You. Number 10, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31. That was, of course, where he did the curb stomp out of nowhere.
Right.
It was insane. Randy was going for I think he went for the RKO and missed and threw him in the air and ended up getting the curb stomp.
Yeah.
It was insane. And plus, those two guys together is just magic.
Yeah.
Of course, Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. Rock and Austin. I like the WrestleMania 17 match. A lot of people don't because that was when, of course, Austin did the heel turn. But that match told such an epic story. And I loved it. Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24. That was, of course, Ric Flair's retirement match. Now, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13. That was, of course, the famous submission match. And, of course, that's where the famous bloody Steve Austin face came from. The aforementioned Hardys versus Dudleys versus Edge and Christian at WrestleMania 16.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 for me is, just like JR said, HBK versus HBK versus Razor Ramon. By the way,
that was great.
Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall, of course, we all know, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, passed away about a month ago, and he was actually finally laid to rest today.
Yeah.
And there was some photos, I guess, that came out online, and people are giving the Click a hard time because they showed up, like Sean Waltman showed up in jeans, and they're all smiling in front of Scott's grave, and it's like they're friends. Like, what do you? I mean, yeah, they're mourning, but it's like, dude,
you want to continue.
Celebration of life.
Yeah, you want them to continue fucking feel bad in front of their friend's grave.
But I will say, in the picture, Kevin Nash looks miserable. And I'm just like, the dude lost a guy he spent half of his life with.
Yeah.
But again, RIP to the bad guy, aka Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero, WrestleMania 20.
That was a
If
great
you
match.
have a chance to watch a match this week, go into Peacock, go to WrestleMania 20 and watch that match.
Yeah.
A forgotten match because people don't give a lot of credit to women's matches. Asuka versus Charlotte Flair just a few years ago, WrestleMania 34. And then my personal favorite, I love it. It's one of the many reasons why I say WrestleMania 17 is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. It was, of course, the Houston Astrodome. It was when WrestleMania went big.
Yeah.
It was when they finally went to the stadiums instead of the arenas. And of course, it was the Dead Man versus the Game, Triple H versus the Undertaker. They literally battled all over the Astrodome.
The first one or the second one?
What's that?
The first one or the second?
First time. This is the first time they fought on WrestleMania, and they beat the holy hell out of each other.
Yeah,
and it was fantastic. I may go out of my way to watch that match tonight. I haven't seen it in a while, but
first thing for me, I was gonna say, hey man, TPJ, what's up, my dude? It's been a minute. Yeah, Shane's always a great match, man. You see that one? I was gonna say too.
Up,
TPJ,
Packer
man.
Jeff.
What's up, man?
Been a minute.
Shout out to TPJ, man. Follow the guy on Instagram, man. Thank you for showing some love, man. What's up? What's up?
He's saying Shane was always a great match.
I will
of
also
course he's talking about Shane Helms. He has to be talking about the Hurricane. I mean, the Hurricane had so many great matches.
I mean, or Shane McMahon, where he some of his matches too, specifically with the first time. The first time he went from buckle to buckle, that was a good time.
Yes, it was at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, that was good one too.
Did the Van Terminator, which was the Coast to Coast.
Yeah, the Coast to Coast. That was a good one. For me, I think, even though the match Undertaker versus Triple H 2 for career, I think, right, wasn't necessarily as clean as the first time. I would have to say though the storyline involved with HBK becoming the referee for a second one, that was good. That was fire, because this whole build up of this whole build throughout the whole year of like HBK going like he's retired, right, at the time, and that he was talking, there you go, Shane O'Mac, baby. And he was also talking about how like, I remember that one promo they did, right, where it was DX right there on the stage, right, and he goes, and then Sean has the mic, goes like, oh, so how do you think, and he turns to Triple H, you think you beat him better than me, right? Just talking about it. And Triple H like, hey man, you've gone soft, and you've floundered, man. You don't have what it. Honestly, you're old you would have took him, but current you not so much. And so he just really broke it down. Like, I have it though. I'm still very much the cerebral assassin. And that whole plot line was great because of how it was a good, well acted out match for me. And for me, it felt like it was one up, even though the first match was a lot more technical than the second match, because of the whole thing where like, he was about to get Taylor's about to get the pinfall, but then you see HBK tearing him off and does a super kick, man, and then Triple H gonna do it. He was about to go for the pinfall, get the two count, and then he kicked out. That was great. That was full on drama right there, man. I love that match. And also, what happened sadly is that Triple H did retire from in ring.
Oh, that's right.
From in ring promotions, right? In ring fighting.
His in ring career is done. He announced that with
because of the thing,
Stephen A. Smith,
pulmonary. Yeah. He had a pulmonary thing. I forgot exactly
what. It was a full-on pulmonary embolism or anything, but he had a heart condition. It wasn't a full-on heart attack, but he had a heart issue.
Yeah,
had to go under the knife and actually stepped away from his day-to-day operations with WWE.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, the sacrifice of him stepping away from his day-to-day operations as chief operating officer of World Wrestling Entertainment was NXT suffered, and the roster was ransacked during the fall. And then, of course, they created NXT 2.0, which has been met with mixed reviews.
Yeah.
I will say that it seems to me that, to an extent,
you can right the ship.
It's trying to right the ship, but the whole calling it NXT 2.0, the fucking ugly color scheme is awful.
Just yeah, I feel like if he can get to a certain level where he can come back and do the day to day, granted the amount of stress that man has just
Yeah.
to keeping that fucking company afloat, man, is tremendous. And so I feel like he
What
needs exactly what freaking what's the name has from that Khan has in AEW, like just a great supporting cast of people that want to see
yeah.
that want to see the product get better tremendously, and not have like outside influences and old heads coming in and trying
It's
to
all
point fingers.
here. It's
Yeah,
all here, and the passion is here. Like the metaphorical heart is
yeah.
here. Unfortunately for Hunter, as I don't
Stress.
know
I don't think.
if this physically
Yeah,
can hold up to the day-to-day operations, because that guy has proven himself time and time again. As much as we shit on him and his long ass promos that lasted 20 minutes
yeah.
20 years ago, I love making fun of Hunter. I will say this: what we shit on him for the last 20 years is what made him such a great heel,
Yeah,
and we don't appreciate him until he's gone. And
yeah.
um, I call it when he won the Royal Rumble a few years ago and to win the WWE Championship. I called it. I was like, it's gonna be Triple H. Watch, it's the
Yeah,
only way you can right the ship.
yeah.
But I don't like where um, the direction some of the company's going.
Well,
Eh,
it's been floundering the last couple of years anyway, man. Just
yeah,
from the sheer fact of like they're trying to get they when the second they went what was it, they went PG and a bunch of other things consistently from that where like they had all their day to day operations focused on becoming clean cut because they
yeah,
wanted to go to a more mass crowd, but then because of the runs of Ring of Honor and New Japan and just the indie market just blowing up and saying a bunch of fucks and who gives a damn and doing these
yeah,
crazy maneuvers. You see a bunch of like the young fans or the fans that grew up with WWE gravitate towards that. And so I feel like just a little push more into that, leaning into that WWE can really do, because like, dude, they can be amazing. Also, sadly enough, too, I think it's gonna be called a career for in in wrestling. No, we call it in ring wrestling. Big E as well. Sad.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
sad.
it's smart, but they're
Yeah,
gonna find something for him to do because he
he's
is
too much of a great character to be like
so
to be honest. Let go.
I think he'll end up being kind of like what they've done with Titus O'Neil,
Hmm.
where Titus has been a goodwill ambassador. He's gone
Yeah,
out and he spread the word. And I would like to see Big E, especially
he's a
with
great guy, man.
the
He's a fucking
influx
teddy
of
bear.
new young talent that they've got, especially with these new collegiate
Wrestlers all that come in. Yeah,
the way they call them, the NILs
God.
deals with the NCAA.
Yeah,
He's going to be involved.
yeah.
Big E will be involved, and he's too. And it would look too bad if they got rid of him. So,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, let us know in the comments below what you guys thought about WrestleMania. What are some of your top matches? Of course, Packer Jeff, which of course you can follow him on TPJ. I think on YouTube and on
Yep.
most social media accounts.
Instagram.
On Instagram, he's talking Shane O'Mac, and I think I'm trying to think of other than
It was
the match at WrestleMania 17, which was
was it
epic
Taker
against his
versus
dad.
Shane.
What's
Taker
that?
versus Shane was there. I think
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Taker
Taker
versus
versus Shane, was that at WrestleMania?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
that
was the
was.
one. That was the pivotal one. I think it was either that one or someone else where Shane got hit in the back and he flew and then like he went crashing down like 30 feet from when he climbed the something Tron. The
Well, he's
was it that?
climbed the Tron a couple of times. He did it at
Yeah.
SummerSlam, and he got hit by. Um,
Was that
he
Sean?
got
Was that
hit. He
Steve?
was at SummerSlam, and he got hit by Steve Blackman. That was like 15, 20 years ago. And then he jumped off the Tron one
Yeah.
year at like Backlash,
Yeah.
and then he jumped off the Hell in a Cell against Kevin Owens, I think,
Yeah, that was
and
crazy.
that wasn't at Mania. That was, I think it was at Hell in the Cell. But he did face. You're right. He did face Undertaker, I think, at WrestleMania somewhere. And it was just a few years ago.
Mm.
But yeah, Mania was a lot of fun. By the way, before we move on, and this again is how you do a segue, my friends. WrestleMania is going Hollywood next year. It will be at SoFi Stadium, home of the reigning Super Bowl champions, of course.
Let's
Not
go.
the Chargers. We're talking about the LA Rams. And I am working on tickets.
Bro.
I may have the hookup.
SoFi is doing amazing. SoFi is doing amazing, man.
But they host the Super Bowl this year. They're
so many shows.
hosting, WrestleMania next year.
They hosted like two weekends of BTS concerts, man. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
And by the way, it hasn't been announced that WrestleMania is going to go 2 days again next year. It'll be April 2nd and April 3rd.
Good.
Next year at SoFi Stadium. Speaking of Hollywood, my friend, you have been foaming at the mouth for 2 weeks to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows about WrestleMania going to Hollywood in 2023, but no one gave a shit about the Oscars in 2022 until about 3.5 hours in, and I'm not exaggerating. It was shortly after 8 o'clock. By the way, this is after they eliminated multiple technical categories, which now it is again. There's been some kickback on this. Heavy hitters like Steven Spielberg and James Cameron, just name a few, that have come out and said, "No, this is bullshit. This is not a night. Just people don't want to see just the actors because at this point they don't give a crap. They want to see everything." And the unfortunate thing is, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second.
Okay,
is until you start to recognize, and I get it. You look at the Best Picture nominees, and a movie like Coda, which arguably, in my opinion, deserved to probably be Best Picture. I haven't seen it yet. I saw the trailer and said, give them the freaking award. It's the best movie of the year. Nothing else in that category should have been nominated. I have met not one person who thought King Richard was good. And this is not a dig on Will Smith because of what happened that night. It's not a good movie. And the rest of the movies, it's like, and I get it. They nominated, it was, what is it called? The Car Ride or something like that. They want to be more diverse and they want to nominate, they want to give non-English speaking movies Best Picture. And if it is like, what was the movie Parasite?
Oh,
it was unique. It was different. It was told a good story. And
it was good.
Movie. If it's a good movie, nominate it.
Yeah.
And people unanimously said last year that 2 movies that are outside their spectrum of what a Oscar movie is, 2 movies that were good, I could correct me if I'm wrong, didn't get nominated for Best Picture. Now you have said, you will take it to the bank that in 2021, the best picture of 2021 was Dune. And was it nominated for Best Picture?
I don't think so, but it was definitely nominated for a bunch of other shit.
It was nominated for a bunch of other shit, and I believe it won all the other shit.
Yeah,
I think Dune was the big winner at the Oscars.
Yeah, I think they won like 5.
And most of them was the technical awards that didn't get aired, and that is what people like Steven Spielberg and James Cameron are bitching about. And me, I love watching the technical awards. I watch for cinematography. I watch for special effects. Because those are awards that are what make movies today so entertaining. And I get it, like the quote artsy fartsy movies or whatever, like those are the quote Oscar movies. But guess what? If you want people to watch your stupid ceremony, nominate movies that people are actually seeing. And unfortunately, as how good it was, and it probably was one of the best movies made last year. Not a lot of people saw Coda because it was behind a paywall on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, it was.
But there's movies behind a paywall on Netflix. There was movies behind a paywall on Prime. But technically, going to the theater is the ultimate paywall.
Yeah.
The other movie, by the way, I was thinking of was. And people will laugh and say, really, you're going to compare Dune to Spider-Man No Way Home? It's a great movie, a great cast, a great story, well acted for a comic book movie, well acted for any kind of movie. William Dafoe and Alfred Molina killed that movie. I mean, just absolutely were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx was good. you know,
Yeah.
for what he did. I mean, was he what he was? And what was that movie he did with Tom Cruise?
Oh, you're talking about
I keep want to say it's Taxi Driver, but it's not.
no, it's not. It's Collateral.
Collateral,
Great movie.
great movie.
Great freaking movie.
um,
I do feel though, just for the it should have been definitely I would say Dune Chef definitely should have been in the running for like best film of the year because
yes,
just how everything like dude, I'm seeing the accolades for the academies right now. It won 6 out of 10 categories it was nominated in, right? Actually, it was in best picture. Never mind, I take that back then. So it was in best picture. Good, but it was not just nominated for it. But the what was going on with this one? It was nominated for best picture. It won. It did win 6 out of 10. There is no individual acting per se, like acting award for it, and I understand that, right? I will say this that when you're looking in into what is the best overall package for it, best picture, that is where I see specifically because I don't want to press you on the Spider-Man thing, but like it's a good movie. Definitely, it should be there for Best Picture. Yes, I do agree. But like the acting per se, man, nah, man. I think
well,
it
I
just
picked
overall
those
hype.
two because Willem Dafoe
Yeah,
was very good at what he did. Alfred
yeah,
Molina cannot do anything wrong.
yeah.
I mean, is it a Shakespearean movie?
Absolutely not. No.
No, but you take into consideration you have all those guys. All those guys have been in. Let's go. Okay. Now I'm not pressing. I know you're not pressing, but I want to.
I
I want the audience to think about this because it's so funny that people go like, "Oh, what are you talking about that about the cast?" I want people to really and truly think about this cast, not just you and I, because you and I know.
yeah
Okay, so let's take a look at the cast. Tom Holland hasn't been nominated for an Academy Award yet. Zendaya, I believe,
has
has for
before.
well, she was nominated for Greatest Showman, right?
I think so.
Benedict Cumberbatch nominated. He was nominated this year.
Mhm.
John Favreau, I don't think has been nominated, but his movies have been,
There, yeah.
amongst the great. Jamie Foxx nominated. Willem Dafoe nominated. Alfred Molina nominated.
Yep.
Marissa Tomei won. Andrew Garfield nominated. Toby Maguire nominated. Um, just you go through this list of the actors, the main key actors from this movie, and they're all Academy Award or a winner or nominated movie. And it's not like they just go, "Oh, I'm just gonna phone it in. It's Spider-Man, not freaking Macbeth."
I will say this now, looking back at it, some of the nominations for year best film of the year, yeah. Like, I'm not fully saying that Spider-Man should have been in the list, but I will say some of these other films, I don't know why they're on it. Like,
The stupid the stupid spoof. What was it called? The one with
oh yeah, Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up.
That's on there. I'm
I
like, okay,
no one that universally people said that movie didn't belong there. And
I
people said
mean,
if you're going to put that movie there,
yeah,
why don't you put Spider-Man there?
it's like I get that like people are saying that well they have so many great actors there. Like, yeah, okay, I can see the argument. Like, no, we'll look at freaking Spider-Man as well. They have so many great actors in that one, specifically going like some specifically actors that have had consistent nominations,
Yeah.
not just in the Oscars, but like just overall. Don't Drive My Car, which is a Japanese. Like, okay, I understand that you got that one in there. Dune's in there. King Richard's in there.
Oh, so okay, Dune did get nominated. Okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't 100% sure.
yeah. Licorice Pizza. I have no clue what this one is, but this has Bradley Cooper. Oh, wow, Bradley Cooper's in it. Sean
Okay,
Penn's in it.
Licorice Pizza is comes from the guy I believe who does I think is it Wes Anderson?
Yeah,
Is that who did it? Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, okay. The other weird guy.
Yeah, I look at Nightmare Alley, but then that's yes, Guillermo del Toro. I'm like, all right, cool. Guillermo del Toro always consistently has picks, pretty freaking close to films of the year. The Power of the Dog. Uh, mm, Western psychological drama. Don't know what
Yeah,
that is.
that one was really kind of a controversial pick
West Side Story.
because it's very much in the realm of when it comes to its controversy, that of Brokeback Mountain, and
Oh.
you have a
You got two
there's
guys. You got two dudes who are straight. Fucking on a mountain.
yeah, well, pretty close. There's some homosexual tendency or
Yeah.
tension there.
I don't know
I
if that.
think the
I don't
problem
know.
was that it a lot of people had a problem with it because it was classified as a Western, and it's not a Western, and it was set to be in Montana,
Hmm.
and they shot it in New Zealand.
Hmm.
And the director took issue with some of the comments that Sam Elliott made about both Benedict Cumberbatch and the director, and they took it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he was called a sexist. And even though he came out and said, I like the director, I think the director does good work. But if you're going to shoot a movie, and I get it, it's make believe, it's all about acting. And okay, they filmed, King Kong, which is based in New York City, and they filmed that in New Zealand. And I get that it's difficult to shoot in New York because it's expensive. But you know where it's not expensive to shoot movies? Fucking Montana. It's Montana. They'll pay you to shoot movies in Montana. It's like the tourism board will say, here, right to your bottom line. And I think that's what Sam Elliott's problem was. And of course, it created controversy and create a lot of awareness towards this director. I don't know her work, and I'm not going to judge her on it. Was I rooting against her for the award? Yeah, I think I was rooting. I think the director from Dune nominated or no?
Yeah, he was. I got understand. So I'm guessing the reason why it was supposed to be either like it was supposed to be Montana, but like said to be Montana. I mean,
Yeah.
the director's from New Zealand, so that's possibly she's just working what she knows, type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Granted, like if you get paid a shitload of money to try to make some, something at least believable, right? You would think you would go to the core, like at least the location where it's supposed to be shot. But hey, man, it's I give
And I
you
stand
the
corrected, by the way.
so
Zendaya was not nominated.
isn't it?
She's been nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award. She's
She
been nominated
was,
for
yeah,
Critics' Choice Awards, but
yeah,
she was not nominated for either an Oscar nor a Golden Globe.
not
So
yet.
I stand corrected. Not yet. She's a good
Not yet.
actress.
She's young, and she really did show up for the one she has been nominated for Oscars for. That's Euphoria. She's actually been really great in that show. But yeah, I know Dune, and the director for Dune has been having nominations for it because Dune's a great freaking movie, man. I can't wait for number 2. Honestly, cannot wait for fucking number 2.
Pre-production with a release date scheduled for next year. I know I just watched Hot Ones, the YouTube show on
Yep.
that they do about hot wings and stuff like that. And they had Josh Brolin on, and he said that pretty much right after he was doing that interview, he was headed towards he was traveling to start shooting Dune. So they're in pre-production right now.
Wait. Wait. What? Josh Brolin?
Josh Brolin,
He's going to
Thanos.
shoot Dune 2.
Yes.
Oh, fuck, she should have told me that.
Spoiler alert.
You should have told me that. Because for those who know about that, what happened in Dune 1.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I just put the logo up. I don't know what I'm talking about because I've never seen Dune.
God damn it! All right. Well, okay. So I'll give you. I'll give you.
You've seen it, right?
Of course, I see it. It's like I want to see it again. Like specifically, probably for like my 5th time, dude. I will say this: his quote unquote death, no body.
The old what do they call
if
it?
there's no body, no death.
Nobody, no
Type
death.
of thing. And so it's like and so what we do, the last thing we see, spoiler for those who haven't watched Dune yet, but the last thing we see of Josh Brolin's character in the film is that he is engaging in a retaliation attack for those who against those who have tried to sneak up on they're nobles basically, and he is one of the he is if not the like general I think of under the house of I forgot the house's name that he is currently serving under, but he's the last thing you see of him is him trying to combat against attackers, that are trying to kill the house that he's under, and so that's the last thing we see of him. Supposedly he was supposed to be dead. He was supposed to be dead from there, but then hey, we'll see what happens. It's good to have him back though. But going back to the main point of one of the bitchiness of Will Smith,
Oh
and
yes,
and
the
I'm
bitch
pretty sure
slap heard around the world.
like and we already seen ramifications from it already. And I'm not talking about the results of what's happening to just Will Smith, but just from the sense of like you already got people who can't take a joke, and then now they're enamored of like, oh, since Will Smith did it, it's okay for me to do it, right? I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this one specifically before, where like, bro, it's one thing, if you're quote unquote protecting the honor of your wife, right? However you want to see it, right? Or however you want to say it for that, you know. And the amount of people are trying to back Will Smith, like, oh, you should definitely protect you should definitely protect your spouse, right? You should definitely do that. Yeah, sure. You should let all the men who aren't Will Smith, right, protect their spouse by hitting somebody and then going to jail. Good job, right? Going to jail for some dumb bullshit because you don't know how to act. Here's the thing that people are forgetting, right? And this dichotomy, it's Will fucking Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. They are in a different world to ordinary people, right? They can quite literally possibly get away with anything and they're okay. Will Smith can get away with slapping another black man on live television and tell him to shut the fuck up, and and he gets awarded for it. He assaulted a man on live television and everyone applauded him. Like, just think of that. Just think of the craziness of that. And people say, well, no, he's defending his wife. That's Jada Pinkett Smith. She's one of the most powerful women in Hollywood. What the hell are you talking about? They're closer to royalty than they
Yep.
are to being, the honestly, and this is gonna sound controversial from my end. At this point, they're like they have nothing in common to like regular black folk. Totally be honest with you. They don't have like people can say like, oh no, they understand the struggle of African Americans. Not really, not anymore. Not especially the fact that when both their kids are millionaires just by growing up. Honestly, both their kids are fucking millionaires. They're talking about doing some other shit like fucking Kama Sutras and like type of yogas and shit, and like talking about their internal problems on talking about their quote unquote internal problems on Red Table that they don't profitize, but they freaking that they profit off of to millions of people.
Yep.
Like seriously, what are you talking about? They're one of the only people that in the world where they talk about their feelings, they talk about all the crazy shit they're into, they talk about their insecurities, where people are willing to listen to them and get paid for it. They get paid for talking about their problems rather than you paying other people to hear for them to hear your problems. They're closer to royalty than anything else. So yes, Will Smith was definitely in the fucking wrong for that. He's a bitch in my eyes. Let's be honest with you. Just to think that you can slap a man and then turn your back on him, smiling at you as you do it, and not thinking that he's not thinking that any other dude is gonna come out and swing on him.
Yeah.
Like seriously. Like, come on, dude. Like, what do you think? What the hell do you think this is about, bro? And I understand that that it's this whole thing of because of the entanglement that happened a couple years ago, where we had that Will Smith meme that come out about him crying and shit, right? Well, yeah, dude, that's it because Will Smith. That's because Jada Pinkett didn't want him. He was It's sad to say that in a world where Will Smith is the safe bet, it's crazy to think that we're in a world where picking Will Smith is the safe bet in your life, right? And that, but then the person you wanted was Tupac. Like, that's insane to me. That's insane. Will Smith, who was at one time or another the best selling rapper at 1 year, multimillionaire, making Bad Boys 1 and 2, was consistently at the top billing for multiple movies, right? That done fucking
Yeah.
gangbusters, and you are the safe bet because Jada Pinkett Smith had someone quote unquote better, and that in 2 years of your separation, dated a rapper and supposedly fucked your son's best friend because he was getting off the drugs while you were still married, and then
Yep.
all that has come creeping up into a man when a joke that wasn't at him but at his wife that his wife disliked, even though there was a lot of worse shit said that night to other people, that you had to get upon yourself to get up and smack another and basically assault another man, like, and then cry about saying that, oh no, I had to protect my wife and I want to be a protector, being like Richard made me feel like I need to protect my family. All right, cool, so you're Kanye West.
And by the way, it turns around. And by the way, Richard Williams, the character in which he was portraying,
Yeah.
one of the biggest assholes on planet Earth,
Yeah.
has come out and said, no, sorry, Will.
Not cool.
This was not cool.
Like that was wrong on so many ends, because like, you just think of the optics from this, man. Just think of the optics. Like, one, you have one of the one of the leaders of your community, African American community, honestly one of the best men at the time before that in the planet, right?
Yeah.
Smacking another black man, right? What does that?
Yeah.
What's the optics for that? Like, bro, like, like, bro, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And people are gonna say some racist, like, people are gonna go into like racial things too. Like, if it was like, would he do the same thing if it was a white guy or a woman, right?
Yeah.
Would it have been different if he smacked the white man and then made that certain joke? Would there be a racial angle on that end too? Like, dude, like, just think of the fucking optics, bro. Like, there's millions of people in the world that want to emulate you, that have bought your autobiography that you put out, I think a couple months ago, and that all this other stuff from that book came out, and how much you felt like a fake and you felt like a fraud, and how you feel like, because of your father abusing your mother, that you always felt like, you were lacking in a certain end, right? And then for people to see that and get enamored by the fact, I'm like, oh no, that means that Will was right then. That was just him wanting to be true to himself. No, motherfucker, he smacked another man. He hit another dude. He emasculated another man on live television, and y'all are applauding for him for it. But then y'all at the same time, in the reverse of that, are hating on Kanye West for almost doing the exact same thing, except that Will Smith has gone above that and actually put hands on a person, while Kanye just talks about it. Because Kanye is doing the exact same thing that Will's doing, other than the fact that he's not married to her. To his ex, like, he was talking about, Kanye West was talking about wanting to protect his family and fighting for the love of his wife, and that love makes you do crazy things as well. It's the same fucking energy, man. It's all toxic masculinity, but the difference between Will Smith is that women, or in this case, certain people who back Will Smith, want our approval of that toxic masculinity, right? And I hate this fucking, quote unquote woke terms, right, that are being said, but call for what it is, man. It's people wanting to adopt their version of what is good when a male fights for you. That's all.
The difference between toxic masculinity and it's like, oh, here's Will wanting to flex his muscles under the guise of protecting his wife, and the difference between toxic masculinity, that, of course, the stupid phrase was adopted when I think it was like Gillette didn't want to do some kind of commercial or something. Anyways, it's not important. But the way to handle that and still be masculine about it, would have been like walking up to Chris, after the show, if it was actually a problem, and, bro, listen, hey, that wasn't cool, and Chris could go like, dude, it was just a joke. Here's what I was going after. And Jada, if you were in intense, we could turn around. You know what this is? is this isn't toxic masculinity, because
Having fun.
really and truly, it'd be toxic masculinity if that's how Will was all the time. And Will's not. Will's the nice guy. Will's the good guy.
Hmm.
That's what they call toxic feminism. Send your
Yeah.
hate tweets this way. Don't send
Yeah,
it to JR. And
I've seen
here's the
that.
reason.
I've seen the
Here's the
argument
reason
before.
why.
I've seen the argument. Yeah.
Because Jada is all on I am woman, hear me roar. I embrace my alopecia. I have an open marriage, and I embrace the woman's right to choose, and I embrace this and I embrace that, and da 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 da, and yet here's quote unquote the glowing example of feminism, a strong black woman. And she turns to her husband and says, "Are you going to do something about it?
Yeah.
You little bitch."
Yeah.
Is basically what her face is.
Yeah.
I have watched Around the Red Table, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
I have watched it, and I watched the episode where they basically verbally bitch slap Will about his drinking. Will is an alcoholic, and I'm not saying I don't know him.
Yeah,
I don't know him from Adam, but from what I've seen, and I've seen people who are alcoholics, and I've seen people who do the things he does and use alcohol in the way he does. It's unfortunate, but he's an alcoholic, and he's an alcoholic probably because of Jada. And I think that night he was drunk. You could tell. You could tell the look on his face, and even before when he was laughing about it.
Yeah.
But we're not here. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't in his body. I wasn't. But it just really kind of. I think a lot of the hate, yes, deserves, because Will has to. He has to fall on his own sword. He did what he did. But he is in a toxic situation with someone who is and I know it's not gonna take off because it doesn't fit the agenda. But that unfortunately is a toxic feminist, and I'm not an anti-feminist, but I'm all for equal opportunity and stuff like that. But that was not equal opportunity. That was hiring your husband in a snap of a finger to do your dirty work for no reason. It was like dance puppet dance. And she got off on it. They saw a video. You saw behind the scenes video. She got off on it. She laughed at it.
The comments towards Jada is one thing. It's just more so for me, like, you're Will fucking Smith. That's it. You're Will Smith, and it's gonna sound as fucking chauvinistic, or it sound as toxic as well. But like, if you dude, control your woman. Honestly, in a sense, like, if you have to have somebody. If you engage every action because of someone else's emotions, it's a bad relationship.
Yeah,
truly. If the first thing for you is just jump, unless of course it's something drastic, right? Obviously, expectation, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. But this right here, in comparison, right? It's a joke that you couldn't fucking handle, right? Oh, but people are saying, "Oh, it's alopecia." Like, and she shaved her head. She shaves her head, wanting to do that. Right? It's a joke, a harmless fucking joke, a joke in which she laughed when Crystal said that Will Smith smacked the shit out of me. She laughed at that joke. So obviously, again, it's this, for me. The concept of this is like, my roundabout way of saying this is that Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, all the motherfuckers at the award show aren't regular people anymore. They're the elite. Right?
Yep.
They're much more closer to they're much more closer to your freaking your government official, right? in the sense of like making things happen than they are to you and me. And comedians are there to check them on shit, to show them, hey man, like yeah, even though you are the movers and shakers, quote unquote, right, of Hollywood, of LA, or certain parts of your world, right, you're still normal in my eyes, so I'm gonna roast the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
And that is the thing, first and foremost, that people should understand. You can't assault somebody because they said something that you don't like, right? Because that goes for you, and specifically when we get to the whole political dynamic. Well, it's like if just think about if the whole fucking bullshit of like punch a Nazi, right? Punch a Nazi. Actually, punch Nazis, right? But then what are Nazis classified as? Oh, these people who are right winged. So I'm gonna punch them, and then they punch you back, and then you fucking claim, oh my god, they're assaulting me, bitch. You fucking punched them first. This whole thing of like, what do you fucking expect when people can't handle words? It's this whole
Used to be
it's this whole aspect of like just people don't understand, are so fucking thin skinned over small shit.
Yeah.
Totally honest with you. It is a joke made from a comedian who was there to roast you. It's not your like if it was one thing if it's at your own personal home, right? If you're on the street or something, right? And he's not doing a certain setting. But again, it's a joke. She couldn't handle a joke.
Yeah, and to close this discussion out, and unfortunately get to a even more serious topic, we'll breeze through it. Is end on this two things is, and it sounds cliche, but when we as a society went away from sticks and stones, maybe break our bones, but words will never hurt me.
Never got away from
we
that.
became soft. I'm all for getting in touch with your feelings. I'm all in favor of handling mental illness and ending bullying and whatnot. If we lived in a perfect world where we didn't have bullies, great. But guess what? Believe it or not, here I am, 40 years old. Guess what I am? I'm a white, middle class male.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're the bully. Really? Really? I've spent nearly 41 years with the last name of Pillow. You think I have him? You think I'm the bully? Come on.
No.
And I have gotten through life. There's many a times I've cried myself on the bus ride home. I have cried myself to sleep because I was teased and bullied. But guess what? I got my ass up out of bed. I got in the shower, got dressed, and I went back to school the next day. And I'm a better man for it. What Jada is a bully, and her husband is her bitch. And he bitch slapped someone because she got offended. And by the way, the other comment I wanted to make, and we'll end on this, on the Oscars, is everyone who says the Oscars used to be classy. They don't roast people. That's what you say for the Friars roast. Bullshit. They've been roasting people for years on Oscar because it's an opportunity for the elite to roast the elite.
Yeah. What they should have is have fucking Ricky Gervais come back and just fucking roast everybody again.
Absolutely.
That's what they should have.
Gervais is at the Golden Globes in 2018, I think it was, or 2019, was fantastic.
What was it? It was that one roast specifically we did about like how Epstein didn't kill himself, right? And people were like, oh my gosh, like hey, and he retorted back, hey, he's not my friend, he's yours. Right? That type of shit. Like that's the type of shit we need, man. Like, and granted, both sides deserve to get it too. Both sides deserve to get these stuff.
They both got it coming and going.
Yeah, and so like it's definitely one of those things where like, bro, like, why is everyone so soft nowadays, right?
Well, it was like
for the smallest shit, bro.
Seth MacFarlane did the Oscars one year, and he got roasted because he did a musical number about "I've seen your boobs."
Yeah.
Okay. Here's three things. Number one, and I know they're going to say, well, number one, Kevin, that's what we did. We didn't invite him back. Number one, don't hire Seth MacFarlane to host the fucking Oscars if you can't take a Seth MacFarlane joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, watch his content. Know what he does. He does these jokes for a living. And guess what? At the end of the day, they're just a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And number three, if you don't want people to talk about your boobs, stop doing movies where you show your boobs. You know, one of my favorite lines of self-deprivation was the girl who did the gray movie, or the book movie, the Red Room, or whatever the fuck was it called?
Yeah.
um the BDSM what was it called?
I don't know.
Grays something Grays.
Yeah, okay, but what about it? What about it though?
A black Shades of Gray, whatever it's called.
Yeah. What
Anyways,
about it?
she was receiving an award, and Leslie Mann went to like pat her on the back or something like that, and broke her dress, and she almost had a wardrobe malfunction, and she was like, "Why do I care? Everybody in this room seen my boobs." And she just kind of owned it. She's like, "I did a movie with nudity in it.
Mm.
Who the fuck cares?" And Seth MacFarlane's bit that he did, it was funny. And people go, "Well, you're a privileged white male. Of course you found it funny. You're not a man. You're not a woman. And blah blah blah. How would you like people to make a penis joke about you? If it was funny, make the fucking joke."
Yeah.
So, anyways, I am with you. Where did we go soft? You know,
yeah, dude. I'm just also fucking thinking about what just sorry to make it political, but the Shane Hawley bit too, where where they really talked about like oh, you know, that I forget. I think it was a Democrat from California or something. Like, dude, Shane Hawley, like you're talking about wanting. You're like one of the softest people. You're talking about wanting you're wanting, you know, more. He was basically exposed, right, for the DOJ referrals, and how like dude, you want all these things, right, and you're trying to hate all these things, but at the same time, like you're in a party where you know you are quite literally the fuck hypocrite as well. Like dude, and then Shane Hawley got all fucking upset, like, oh, you know, you can't say that to me. Like, bro, like you're fucking like we live in a privileged country where those who are quote unquote roasting are those who are privileged enough, right, to be on that type of like hierarchy. You know, you are saying that you can't hate me when I roast you, type of shit, right? You can't roast me back when I roast you. Like, it's like, bro, get the fuck down, sit the fuck down. So yeah, but yeah, just going and being on that privileged position, right? Segue, being in that privileged position, man, is like, bro, what the fuck, man? What is up with people that like are that think they can get away with shit nowadays because they make way more money than average people, and they can just fucking put hands on people. It's one thing. It's one thing where actually not. It's not one thing. I wonder if actually. Let me click back. I wonder if what the thought process then, if when Will Smith smacked Chris, what happens if like Chris saw that coming and smacked in the back? Right? What the conversation would be from then? Because I will tell you this: if Ezra Miller came at me in the same way that some of these incidents are happening in Hawaii happened, right? Like how he shouted obscenities in a fucking bar by someone singing karaoke and, you know, another guy playing darts. If Ezra Miller came at me with both his hands, I would beat the hell out of him. But I feel now, because of like his quote unquote privilege now for being an actor, of being, you know, possibly being a millionaire, that, oh shit, I can't do anything.
Here's the problem: is that Ezra Miller has been given so many second chances, because this is not his first incident.
Yeah.
As JR put it, Ezra Miller had an incident in Hawaii where he shouted obscenities at patrons singing karaoke and attacking another playing darts. Not the first time that Miller was caught attacking people. A video was circulated where he has seen choking a woman and pushing her to the ground back in 2020.
Yep.
Now, I will always say this: there is always two sides to a story. The incident with Ezra Miller in 2020, we don't know what happened. We only see the video that is shown, and it's horrible what he did.
Yeah.
I am by no stretch of the imagination defending Ezra Miller. I want this guy to succeed. I think he's a good actor. He's highly entertaining. He brought a lot of entertainment to a dredge of a movie in Justice League.
Yeah.
I'm highly looking forward to The Flash.
Yeah.
But this guy just needs to knock it the fuck off. And I
Yeah.
think one of his problems, I think he has a drinking problem. Here's the common denominator. It's like every time he's in trouble, he's either drunk or he's leaving a bar or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we don't know what was said. I've heard people that you should never put your hands on a woman.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that
Yeah.
ever. Sorry, I can't defend that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what this woman said to him. Did the woman do something to him? But I honestly think he's just such a loose cannon that it was probably unprovoked. What went on in this bar? Did someone? And remember, mind you, where it's at too. It's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Here's Ezra Miller, who I don't know what his ethnic background is. I don't know where he lives, but here is a state in the Union. And people want to shit on Florida and they want to shit on Texas because they're territorial. Not true. They joke around about like, don't bring your shit to fucking Texas. We're Texas, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But really and truly, the people of Texas are very welcoming people. People in Florida are just weird. But, for the most part, people in Florida are pretty welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
People in Hawaii, with the exception of the resorts, the people of Hawaii are not very welcoming people.
Mm-hmm.
They are very territorial.
Absolutely.
And we don't know what this idiot, and I'm saying Ezra Miller is the idiot, what he did to piss off a local. He was probably in some local bar. It probably wasn't the bar of a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably in some local bar, and he probably mouthed off. But at the same time, does it make it right? Who started what? But we do know that locals in Hawaii do not like mainlanders. They do not like us. I've been there. I've been given the dirty look. And I went there when I was like in high school. Like I was just still a kid.
Yeah.
What did you say they call it?
Fucking Holly. Mainlander.
Mainlander.
It's like it's definitely it kind of happens when you go to an island and you slaughter the natives and you then try to take over the place, and then try to claim it as your own, like you found that shit. So it happens. And not only that, but also like when you then after fighting found shit, you then buy up their territory and push them out of their land and then have them work for your multi-million-dollar companies and resorts and shit while those multi-million-dollar companies predicate on your culture by putting fucking these hulas up. So I get that point, but like for Ezra Miller being a dumbass, right? And there also was an incident too, Ezra Miller, where he was quote unquote drunk, right? And he was at a house at a local or something, where he went to a room and he looked at a local couple and said to them, quote, "I'll kill you and your slut. I'll bury you and your slut."
He's such a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, dude? How is in Hawaii? How are you not getting your ass whooped?
Yeah.
Because for those who know, like actual Hawaiian people, they scrap. Everyone scraps.
Yeah?
Everyone scraps. Everyone. Every man, woman, child. In that order, they scrap. They fight. And so you scrap for less in Hawaii. So I don't know how he is still moving around with his jaw not unhinged in that sense.
Yeah.
But specifically, if you want to try to quote unquote kill you and your slut. So I'm like, dude, Ezra Miller is. I enjoyed him when he was in Percy Being Wallflower. He was great that role. I think he has come out before. And again, this is toxic masculinity at the finest. And I think he is part of the LGBT community, right? And so I know there's been some notions by people saying that people in the LGBT community, specifically gay men, don't have toxic masculinity. Well, here's an example of it, possibly. And like I also feel it's a privilege thing, man. It's a huge privilege thing. It's this whole aspect of like, I have money, I have way more money than you, I have more social clout than you. People know my name, people know my face, so I'll do whatever the hell I can and will do to you. And I feel the exact same thing with freaking Will Smith. And he did that to Chris Rock, who is not in the same playing field as Will Smith, but he's much closer to Will than we are to him. So Chris. And so like Ezra, he's being an idiot. He
Yeah,
like there's some, and this is toxic masculinity in me that's gonna come out right now. I will say this: sometimes some dudes need to get their ass whooped for like
yeah.
when this
Some
this
people
type of
just need.
strenuous shit,
Some
right? When
people
you
just need to be trained out.
yeah, when it's this type of strenuous stuff, I'm not like Will Smith deserves to get his ass whooped. Ezra Miller deserves to get his ass whooped for shit like this. For shit like this, man. Like you go like from threatening a couple, choking a woman, pushing her down to the ground for possibly jokes, for possibly jokes, right?
Yeah,
And as well as like, you know, posting a $500 bill, only $500, and then possibly gonna do a movie. Oh, he did. No, he was. It was a day or so before he was gonna go to a premiere for the new what do you call it, the new Harry Potter movie or something, the Fantastic Beasts
oh
movie.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then now supposedly because of it, the repercussions from his actions now, WB, Warner Bros, and DC are like, oh, we're gonna put a pause on all this stuff.
Yeah,
The
so apparently he had stuff on tap for um, some Flash stuff with Disney Plus, or it's not Disney Plus, with HBO
DC,
Max.
yeah,
Um, the movie The Flash is still going to come out.
yes,
They don't know yet what his involvement's going to be with any of the press tour, but that movie's not coming out till what, later this year or next year.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like
But
it's like I gave him the. I don't. I'm not saying I gave him the benefit of the doubt the first time these explanations of him, possibly having attitude came out, right? And there has been reports saying that he's been, losing his mind, quote unquote, on set. But he's not like, he wasn't reported to say that he had physical outbursts and yelling or screaming at the cast or anything. But he's just saying that he was always on edge because he
yeah,
just doesn't know what to do. That's one thing. But like when you now have a history, right, of all this shit, don't know what the cause is, or is unwilling to, or you are unwilling to try to find out the cause and nip it at its bud, dude. When you go up to random people and just say some random, like honestly, like some type of stuff that some homeless people would say, like to fight you, you deserve to get your ass whooped, man.
yeah.
like to all be honest with you, bro. Like
Well,
like
anyways,
you
let us.
cost people. And I'm sorry, I know I know people are
No,
not.
no, no.
I know people are coming at me saying though, well, Jay, what if he was saying a joke? Obviously, he wasn't. Obviously, he
He has
wasn't.
too much of a track record of being controversial, and I do know that he has
Yeah.
had an issue with substance abuse in the past, and
Hmm.
maybe he is dealing with the fame because here's a guy who really wasn't all that well known, and then he was pushed into the limelight with the Flash and being in movies with Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck and Henry
Yeah.
Cavill and all these big names and being directed by Zack Snyder and whatnot.
Yeah.
So um, we don't know what's going on in his head, but let us know in the comments below what you think of Ezra Miller. What did WB overreact? Should you are you innocent until proven guilty? I think this guy's track record proves that he has an issue. He is guilty until proven innocent. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, I actually I wish we could end on a good news, and maybe it'll be kind of lumped into this. Let's talk a little bit about Disney. Now, Disney's had a tumultuous last couple of months, or last few weeks.
Yeah.
Of course, the CEO knee jerk reacted to the LGBTQ whatever community
Yeah.
over the controversial bills in the state of Florida and Texas. Employees staged a walkout. Then the CEO had just basically a no response just to appease the left. And then the
Bro, just like
the Republican, and I'm not trying to get political, but I'm just pointing it out.
yeah.
Governor of Florida said, "Oh, by the way, all of those sweetheart deals that the great state of Florida gave Walt Disney some 70 years ago, yeah, they're gonna go away." And that's
Stupid.
when the board of directors told the CEO Bob Chapek to shut his fucking mouth
Hmm.
and just let it go. Just operate business as usual. Just, and this is where I think
I
I
mean,
get it. What's
I
up?
mean, I would have honestly, if I was in his shoes, I would have big dicked it. I would have big dicked it and said, "All right, bet and move."
Yeah,
Honestly, I would have just fucking, all right, Florida. Only reason why people know you in the last 50 years before all
you're
that
not wrong.
was because of us.
Yeah,
I then bet we'll fucking move to Montana.
yeah. And I'm on both sides of the fence of this. Um,
Yes,
I'm
fuck Florida.
the bill at its core
Fuck
that
Florida
they're
government.
talking about, and this is the most we're gonna get political. The bill at its core, if you really and truly read the bill at its core, there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm.
Reason being, hear me out. Hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Why should it even be brought up in elementary school? I'm all for teaching human sexuality.
Yeah.
All for it. Gay, straight, lesbian, queer, trans, whatever. Talk about it. And I
Okay.
get it that there are kids out there that are dealing with questions in their heads and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be taught at that age
Okay.
at school.
Let me try to see if I give you a hypothetical then. So let's say you have, your teacher in the class, and the whole thing already is pretty restrict. The whole place you're teaching at, the community you're teaching at is already really restricted, right? Little Billy comes into class one day, right? Tells you, hey, teacher Kevin, or whatever, teacher whatever, right? I think I really like Tommy. Oh yeah, he's your best friend. Yeah, no, no, no. You're like, no, no, no. I really like Tommy. What do you say? Talk about it with your parents?
Yeah, to be honest, they tell you can't talk about that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
And so you as an adult teacher say, oh, okay, we'll talk to your parents, whom this person's parents is probably right wing political possibly, and comes from possibly a restrictive household of Christians.
Here's my question is
Hmm.
then why are kids being allowed to roam around in first and second grade making sexual noises to one another? If it's okay to tell little Johnny that it's okay that he can like Billy because it's an accepted deal, then
Hmm.
go full board and tell the second graders that making moaning noises to other
Hmm.
girls at
Hmm.
that age that it's sexual harassment and treat them
Okay.
as such.
This is
If you're
I,
going to
I will
because
combat you
that's
with
happened.
okay. No, but here's the thing. I will combat you with that though. One of them is totally innocuous, and the other is obviously sexual provocation. What's then if this all falls down to one thing, the parents, right?
Yeah.
Because one
And I had to have that conversation, or my wife did.
obviously, right, obviously, I understand that. But one aspect is this: a child's feelings towards another, and the other one is, of course, sexual arousal because the child, right? Because
Yeah.
what did the child? This is sure. Both of those can go to parents. Why do you like this boy? Why do you like this person who is the same sex as you? Second one, why are you making these fucking noises? And
And
again,
that's the thing. If you
it
want to
goes
have a
down.
little,
For me, bro, I granted I don't have kids, but I do know that area of like boys or girls, whatever's having these type of sexual ramifications. Like, okay, then who's their influences under? Why aren't their parents in this? If you want to, like, I understand both these topics can be treated down to like you go talk to your parent, right? So then therefore the forefront of this problem, the crux of the problem is lies on the parent, right? If
yeah.
you if the teacher can't talk about this, which is what they're basically telling them to do,
Well,
and
here's
but
the
you
thing: is
can
they can talk about it, but they can't teach it.
but
You can't have because that's the thing, and that's what the core of the bill is that it is not to be taught. It is restricting them from bringing human sexuality.
Okay, but that's the thing though. Like
to
the
kindergarten through fifth grade.
the actual dialogue or the actual terminology in that bill is so vague that it can open up. It's way too vague. It's not actually broken down to like what grades
Yeah,
and what's the
it says kindergarten through fifth.
kindergarten, but like it's also in that same too, where like it actually expanded. It could go to kindergarten until 12th in certain senses because now in certain parts of Florida they're pushing towards K to 12. So
Yeah,
that's the
I,
entirety of that's the
yeah, no,
entirety of it.
that's not cool. I think
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
this
that
is the
the
middle of the
actual
road with me. Is
yeah the actual
the
law is so vague that
yeah
other schools can expand upon it where it goes to farther than K to 5. And
yeah
so when I say like too like again not to combine you with that one, but like when you say teachers can talk about it, all teachers can do is teach.
yeah.
Okay, how do you feel? Why do you feel it? Can you not expand it then? Can you not expand about like okay, why do you think you have these feelings for this child?
And here's
For
my
the,
thing: is if little Johnny, say you're little Johnny, and you have feelings for little Billy,
yeah.
do you want that to be a conversation of topic amongst the rest of the class? No, you're having issues with this. You're having these mixed issues, and I'm putting myself in that situation. I wouldn't want that if I'm here. Here I'm little Kevin, and I've got a crush on little Janie over there. You
Okay.
know, if I'm a fourth grader and I've got a crush over, and I did, I knew what crushes were, but
Okay,
I didn't know anything about
the
sexuality. I didn't know about sex. I didn't know about sex till I was like in
okay, but the
junior high
conversation
or
about
something like that.
the intention though is different now. Because the intention between you and me, if our liking of a girl right was brought to class, that would be seen like oh get go oh yes this person like that one. If that conversation is brought up, that if little Timmy like Johnny, there's another aspect and facet to that. Oh, why do you like a boy? That in
But
a
even
sense,
then, it's like
both of those are wrong.
but
Yeah,
my little crush when I was a kid wouldn't have been brought up in front of the class either because it could
yeah,
have
but that's
embarrassed me or
but
the
that
other person.
yeah, but that's the thing though. Like the overall statement is that it's okay to love whoever the hell you want to love.
Yeah,
That's the whole. That was for me. That was the whole aspect. Like it doesn't matter. Both of those things are cute. Both of those things are can be
yeah.
giggled at, but in a way that's not in a way that's like oh my gosh, a boy likes a boy. Ew, you're going to hell. That's bullshit. And I feel like for me, dude, it's like all right, cool. So kids in Florida are gonna be regressed to the point where like it's like they don't want to live there. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't know understand these feelings anymore because they can't talk about it. They can't be taught about it either. And so like, and not only that, but they're gonna be pushed back to parents who maybe are more right leaning in comparison to Florida, how they voted in the state, and where the progressives and where the Republicans lay on that line. It's like
Yeah.
if I was Disney, I will honestly just say, "Fuck it." Then I'm gonna move.
And neither one of them are going to do anything. You
No,
know,
because
Disney did the
there's no
right
anything.
thing, and they just said, "Here we put what." And it's like to the employees that walked out. What do you want Disney to do?
It's like,
What because it's going to be a pissing contest between the two of them.
yeah,
Bob Chapek is going to tell Florida, "Shove it up your ass," or we're going to move to Montana,
yeah.
and then Florida is going to turn around,
Say
and
bet.
it's just going to go back and forth,
Yeah,
and no one's going to win.
yeah,
And being someone who's headed to Florida in a month and a half to go to Disney World,
hmm,
um, and by the way, too, is here's a company who is extremely progressive, to
yeah,
use a woke term,
mm-hmm,
who is very, for the general audience, very liberal,
yeah,
um, in the guise of a family company, um, quote unquote under an old conservative. Actually, I don't think Walt Disney ever really showed his flag,
yeah.
but
He did hate Jews. He did hate Jewish
what's
people.
that?
He did hate Jewish people.
Everyone had
He had a what's the he was a what's the actual term for for hatred of
anti-Semitic.
he did show a lot of anti-Semitism towards Jewish people. So
And it's just it's a no in a situation like that, and the same thing with DeSantis. It's like it's a no-win situation. It was when I read it, I was like, part of me was like, okay, big dick, okay, what are you gonna do with that? You know, You're waving your your cancel flag. You get pissed off when people cancel you, and then you want to sit up and you want to literally cancel one of the biggest companies in the world that basically put your state on the map. Orlando was swamp. They bought a town. They are a self-sufficient principality. They are a self-sustaining. They run their own power. They have their own police department. They have their own fire department. I believe they have their own hospital. They're probably. I mean, they're the example of Tony Stark, by the way. All of their power is green energy. They run off hydroelectric. They run off solar. They run off windmills. And I mean, they've done a great job. They have their own transportation. They've revolutionized transportation in that area. And people don't realize Disney World is not in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
It's not. It's technically in the city of Kissimmee, Florida, which is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
It's all owned by. They own their own town. So it was a no-win situation, and it was going to make no one happy. And I think that I'm kind of glad it kind of went away. But what didn't go away, or maybe it did go away, but it was there long enough for people to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Disney censoring themselves. What? And it started with their acquisition of their characters from Netflix, which included the Defenders, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, the Punisher, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. They put those shows on Disney Plus, put it behind a new parental block, which still pissed off the parental organizations.
Yeah.
But then they started to censor it, started to remove tributes, edit scenes, and then they edited their own stuff, editing out graphic content from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I believe from Loki, Hawkeye, and others. Some of it has made its way back onto the show and say it was uploaded incorrectly. That's a jerk off freaking answer. But why? They still have given no reason why they have removed tributes to actors who passed away during production of the Defender shows, including Stan Lee.
I will say this. If the specific one where Stan Lee's tribute for The Punisher season 2, if for those who have seen season 2, the ending of season 2, where Punisher comes out in his garb and he has the Punisher shirt, and then he's in a warehouse full of bad guys per se, right? And then he pulls away his trench coat, comes out with two assault rifles, right? And just guns everyone down there, and the thing it goes to black and it says in memory of Stan Lee. I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's proper for that, right? You maybe for the beginning of the show,
and I didn't know that's where it aired, and that's on me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? Like in that play, okay, that kind of makes sense. That would be like, if
but removing the tribute for the actor who played Luke Cage's father, who's a tremendous actor, of course, he was in the Fantastic Four, which of course he'd like to forget. Yeah. But he was also played a great character in a show called House of Cards on Netflix, which, by the way, anybody should go out and think what you want to think about Kevin Spacey.
Great actor, horrible douchebag.
Great actor, was a douchebag of a human being, but was a tremendous actor, and he acted the hell out of this part. Frank Underwood is probably one of the best characters in television in the last 20 years. I mean, he is up there. To me, Frank Underwood on that show was like Tony Soprano. You love to hate him. He was a despicable human being, but you just wanted to root for the guy. I apologize for not remembering the actor's name, but they removed his tribute because he died in the middle of production, or died shortly after production of Luke Cage finished, and and then when the show aired, they put a little remembrance of him in the show, and they deleted that. So I don't know. I have to go back and see where it aired, but the Stan Lee thing. Yeah, maybe I'd second guess that one.
Yeah, too. I mean, it would be weird if, like, let's say you had let's say if you had like a certain scene where, like, it's what was it? Remember that one pivotal Spider-Man trailer, the original Spider-Man trailer, right? Where you had the web between the two towers, right? right?
Oh yeah, they were originally going to put the Twin Towers in. Yeah,
There, and then they cut it out. It's
yeah,
it's somewhere in that aspect, right? Like, yeah, let's not have it that, if you want to pay tribute to somebody, but not pay tribute by gunning down by mowing down a room full of supposed bad guys because
by
you're
the
the
way,
Punisher.
I actually kind of like that scene.
It was a good scene. It was, but just the whole thing, like, not the right time, my guy, not the right time.
So yeah, what you guys' thoughts on that? Let us know in the comments below. Disney again having a kind of a rough week, but some good news, Jr.
Yeah, man.
Some good news from Disney. They finally admitted it.
That's right.
The Defenders are canon. According to multiple comic book movie platforms, comic book like what do you want to call it, dirt sheets or whatever. Multiple websites said that Disney has come out and said, though it's never been official. Like Disney has not come out, Marvel hasn't put a big old splash page, but multiple reports have said that Disney is accepting the Defender Saga, which is, of course, if people don't know what the Defender Saga is, it's Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage,
Yeah.
Iron Fist, the Punisher, and the Defenders miniseries are now officially canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, it's not a multiverse. This is in the mainline cinematic universe timeline. So when they talk about the big event, the attack on New York, they're talking about the events of 2012 and the attack of the Shatari army and Loki and stuff like that. Which, by the way, hold up. I gotta put it up because I don't want people to get pissed off that have never seen it. Which, by the way,
Ezra
what the
Miller on
fuck
there.
are you doing? One of my favorite parts of the entire Netflix series, the entire Netflix line, was the first couple of episodes of Daredevil season 1, and where they explain how New York was able to get rebuilt so quickly, and how everybody and how Wilson Fisk and his organization rose to power because Wilson Fisk controlled all of the construction in New York. And that's how he made all of his money to gain the power that he was. So it was very much a mobster-esque story that Wilson Fisk is a la Tony Soprano, a la, guys like John Gotti and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a great little throwaway part of the story, but it was so pivotal to the total overarching of the MCU. How did it get rebuilt? Oh, I understand that Damage Control, the Department of Damage Control, acquired all of the tech from the Shatari and gave it to Shield, but how did it get rebuilt? Tony Stark didn't fabricate new buildings. No, they did like anything else, just like they did after 9/11. People got building contracts and stuff like that, and they rebuilt Lower Manhattan. And the same thing with Daredevil. So it's one of my favorite parts that tied into the greater MCU, and of course throughout the Defender saga. And of course they never mentioned each other, more obviously. But I will say this for the diehard nerd fans out there: by canonizing the quote unquote Defender saga, you are now canonizing. I told JR this earlier. You are canonizing Cloak and Dagger. Now, Cloak and Dagger is a little forgotten show that ran on Freeform and Hulu, and it's actually a really underrated show. It's actually really, really good, and deals with two really unique characters in the Marvel fandom.
Yeah.
And there is a tie because there's a police officer character in that show that references Misty Knight, and vice versa. Actually, there's a moment in Luke Cage season 2 where Misty Knight references the police officer down in Louisiana. And then, of course, so there's that connection. Then we know that for those of you who've watched the show, Cloak and Dagger, they had a crossover event with the Runaways. And in the Runaways and Cloak and Dagger, they both deal with Roxxon and whatnot. And Roxxon and the incidents that took place actually that gave Cloak and Dagger their powers is directly referenced in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, again, follow the Yellow Brick Road. They're all canon. Yeah. So, Feige, just do it. I know you didn't get along with Perlmutter or whatever the French toast's name was, but it's all canon. So, yes, good news. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are both supposed to
return
reprise their roles. I know that Kristen Ritter has been posting a lot on social media. She's dropped the baby weight. She looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
She is in some Jessica Jones fighting weight, and I
Mm-hmm.
cannot wait
Yep.
for her. The bottle of Jack Daniels, and
Now, here's a
really
bigger question. Here's a bigger question. Are they getting Hulu money or Disney Plus money? There's a difference, obviously, because Hulu Plus.
I think that at the end of the day, it really depends on what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think that we're on the precipice of Disney Plus getting the Star package. And for those who don't know what the Star package is, Star was a company that Disney acquired through the Fox deal, and it was a subsidiary of Fox Entertainment that was based in, I believe, India. And it was like their version of Fox over there. And it was
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
very PG-13, R, NC-17 content, and amongst other things. And
Yeah.
so Star was acquired, and overseas, basically everywhere but Canada, the United States, and Mexico,
Yeah.
overseas, Star is a.
Okay. So long-winded question, long-winded answer. Cutting
I
it
think it's going to
shorter.
end up on Disney Plus because I really think that Disney wants to have everything under one umbrella, and I think that eventually we're going to see a version of the Star platform on Disney Plus.
Hmm.
They've shown that they can get the parental thing to work. I've got mine, so I can watch the stuff on there. And I think that you're going to get Disney Plus money. I think you're going to see I think you're going to definitely see a Daredevil show.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to have to push the envelope a little bit beyond Falcon and Winter Soldier and a little bit beyond what we've seen so far in Moon Knight.
Hmm.
Do they go full on smash a guy's head in the door, like they did in Daredevil? Maybe not, but I still think that you'll see the Defenders in some form or fashion return to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to start with Daredevil. If it does well, I think you're going to see probably the Punisher get introduced next, and then it goes from there. But I don't think you can do Jessica Jones and Luke Cage
Together. No,
without Michael Ritter, or I'm sorry,
No.
without Michael Coulter and
Kristen
Ritter.
Yeah, I do feel like though, there's a lot of the things. Granted, I understand that Marvel wants or Disney wants everything Marvel under one house.
Yeah,
I do feel like, man, because there's that statement before where where John Bernthal, if you ever want to come back if you ever want to come back as Punisher, saying that we have to be true to the actual thing. I don't want to come back doing PG-13 PG stuff. I want to show some extensive dark content, right? And if people who've seen Punisher season 1 and 2, they go pretty dark. They go really dark. And so I feel like I would love to see a Hulu version of Punisher.
It'd be the safer bet.
Ooh, man, that would be like I'm just thinking like if Punisher was on Amazon, right? For those who've seen Amazon shows, The Boys.
Oh, The Boys is fantastic, but it is
brutal, right?
Brutal.
And I feel like that's the type of thing that Punisher needs, where you just be Punisher, and you want like the shows on Amazon and the shows on basically Amazon, where they go that above and beyond, showing gratuitous war and all that stuff. I mean, that's honestly predicated because of freaking Punisher, what he has done.
Yeah.
So I as much as I would love to see a Punisher on Hulu, it's probably gonna go on Disney Plus as well. And but I would probably think that John Bernthal, if Disney is throwing around that money, he'll stay, which is great because
and the nice thing about it too is you can do the Punisher and be more open about its involvement in the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe and reference what's going on. Have them go like, "Oh, I hate that freaking spider guy." And have them reference it more. But see, the great thing about Frank Castle and the Punisher is he doesn't need the Avengers.
Yeah,
he doesn't need the X-Men. He doesn't need the Fantastic Four. Hell, he doesn't even need the Defenders. He can just go around killing bad guys. That's the story that we tell.
I wouldn't mind. I see John Bernthal's role specifically, right? He might have his own solo outing, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind him popping up in an event in, I don't know, Hawkeye. I wouldn't mind him popping up in an event.
See a crossover.
Absolutely crossover. I wouldn't mind if Yelena was still, bumming it with I forgot her name, but Haley Steinfeld's character, uh, with her and around somewhere, around the U.S., trying to stop murders and stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing him there. I wouldn't mind seeing John. I wouldn't mind seeing Punisher going against Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier type of
Yeah,
stuff, right? That would be some crazy stuff. And so it's definitely an aspect where John Berthal, he can get a lot of burn, and specifically
yeah.
in if it's Disney oriented. So, but yeah, I'd be happy to see that, man.
Well, real quick, just kind of blow through the last couple topics.
I was
Just kind
gonna
of
say,
using.
yeah, let's do a yeah. For those who don't aren't seeing, I put up a list of stuff to do, and the last
Yeah,
one we see shit. But what else we gonna talk about? I was gonna say let's combine them. As we're talking about it, we do pull list stuff, flexible stuff as well.
yeah. So we were talking about video games. I think we could do a whole new episode about Sony getting into the streaming thing like Game Pass because I want to give my opinion on Game Pass. I actually subscribed to
Did
Microsoft
you?
Game Pass,
Okay.
so I want to get I want to toy around with it some more,
Okay.
and we'll do a review. So guys, coming up, especially those who are watching on Twitch,
Hmm.
we'll get more into Game Pass and Sony's streaming platform. A video game platform in another episode. But let's get into flexible real quick. I was going to go up and get my flex, but it's buried. And at this point, what's the
Yeah.
point? But I am anxious
You want to see
to
what I
know
got?
what JR scored at WonderCon.
I didn't get too much because I told you before. Like, I didn't have that much cash on me, but I will show some other stuff that I did get.
Yeah.
Is my room a mess again? Yeah, it is a mess because it's granted me. So, but stuff I got before Comic Con. This is eBay
Ooh.
right here. House of Slaughter #1. The 1 for 100. Yeah, 1 for 100. Jennifer Zone variant. This is the thing I got on eBay. This is a hardcover to find. Land of the Living Gods #1. I forgot who did this cover, but this is an homage cover to not Berserk. It's an old anime.
Oh, okay. It looked for a second there. There was an old man Hawkeye
No.
cover.
If you
Never
ever see some Akira, there you go. That the Japanese
Oh,
anime
that's
called
what.
Akira.
Okay, yeah, I do see it. I do see it now. Yeah,
This is I have a bunch of covers that have the same homage, the same
yeah.
styling, but not from Land of God. And also the
I
second
had
one is
Akira #1 and I got rid of it.
the second one is the version variant for that one.
Actually, I think I traded that to Adner.
Really? How dare you?
Yeah, he gave me. Oh, you know what he traded me
What do you get you?
was the Joshua Middleton Batgirl.
Oh, that one. Okay.
That number 50 or what it was. It was the one from like the side silhouette, the side angle. I
don't remember that one.
I can look it up.
So, okay,
Go ahead.
specifically the ones, I'm pretty sure I showed this cover ready. I have a 9.4 of this variant, and it hurt my heart so bad that it came back 9.4, so I had to buy another one. Ironheart #1.
That one.
Show it. Oh yeah, that one. You got that from
That one.
Adler?
I traded him Akira #1 for that one because at the time this book was red. Actually, this was white hot. This book was ungettable.
Yeah, that was hard to get. That's the one that Josh Milton blew up on again. Yeah, for that one. So Ironheart #1, Stephanie Hans variant. I had to rebuy this one.
I think do I have that one?
No, you don't. It's the one
That's
for
not the
50
cover
variant.
A, is it?
No, it's not cover. It's a 1 for 50 variant. You don't have it. There's not many people have that cover. Believe me, I know.
Oh, I know.
Here you go. So the rest of the stuff I have is actually all from Stranger Comics. So and they're
all from
Stranger
our friends at Stranger Comics at WonderCon.
Yeah, man. So shout out to them. This is a homage cover to Nas, I think. This is a Nas homage cover. No. Yeah, it's Nas.
That's Biggie, dude.
It's Biggie?
That's Biggie.
It is Biggie. That's right.
That's the notorious. That's something in the family.
You think so? I don't recall.
Oh, I have the out. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. Ready for Death. That's right. This is Glorious Niobe. They're one of their flagship titles. They're at Stranger Comics. Hopefully, it's going to be out on HBO.
Ready to Die album.
Yeah. This is a hard cover to get from them, man. This is one of the very first ones. I do. I have a 9.8.
No, I have.
You have a Stephanie Hans variant, 1 for 25?
Yep.
1 for 50? Where do you get
150.
that? Where do you get it?
Where did I buy it?
Yeah, where
I
did you buy
bought it from Comic Asylum
it? You did
in
not.
December of 2018.
You did not. I bought it from what? Lucky bastard. It's
Yeah, the Incentive Stephanie Hans cover.
150.
I think I got no. You know what it is? It is an Incentive cover, and I think that Chick knew, and it's a gorgeous cover. And I think Chick knew that. I think she had multiple because I think she had the 1 in 100 too.
For Riri one. Oh, she did. Because I wanted that cover. I wanted that number one. It was
because that run actually was really good. That was a hot run.
Yeah,
Ironheart was hot.
Yeah, I think the first one was an art gem. The number one for 100 is an art gem. I'm pretty sure. This one's hard to forget. 1 for 10. I got a 98 of this one. Put that away. And basically, all these covers are kind of the same, but they're different. They're different variants, and they're all nearly the same cover. It's an homage to DMX.
It's a DMX.
Yeah, I had to get all of them. So there's this version, there's the regular version, the white version, right?
Yeah.
The virgin version of the white version.
The virgin version of the white version.
Yeah, I think there's a third print or a different print of this, and then the virgin variant of that print. I think one of these is a 1 for 25 as well. I forgot which one it was, but yeah, these are hardcovers to find, man.
Well, I didn't get a chance to go up and get the book My Flexible for this week. But speaking of Riri Williams,
yeah,
I have this is the Mike McCone Steam variant cover of Riri's first solo book. So that's Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, Number 1.
Yeah.
It is a CGC 9.6. And I picked it up last week at Comic Asylum. For those of you watching the video format, that is the version right there. And I will get some photos up. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. I'll post some flexibles. By the way, guys, if you want to post about your flexible, put it in the comments. Let us know what your flexible was this past week. Also on Twitter at PS Comics I Love, the letter U. Reply back. I'll post it tonight about what was your flexible. Actually, I'll do it right now while we're talking about it. So if you guys want to do it, head over to our Twitter account. That's PS Comics I Love You. Mm-hmm. And reply to our thing with a picture and tag your favorite comic book store.
Yeah, man. Well, good. See, mainly, the other stuff we talk about in another episode or say a more video game related type of thing. I'm pretty sure because there's some stuff coming out. Witcher 4 is in development again. New Tomb Raider, which is funny because I thought CDG Projekt Red, the guys who are behind the Witcher series as well as Cyberpunk 2077, which is honestly got better. Like I've said, it got better. It's actually really fun to play, and it's if this was the version of the game that came out, it would be up there for like one of my favorite games of all time. And so they're consistently making better. Granted, it took them 2 years to do so, but hey, man, better than nothing. And so a bunch of stuff we talk about. Yeah.
So if you guys excuse me. If you guys have any comments about the Game Pass and the new PlayStation streaming service and any other video game streaming service, let us know. And
the horrendously convoluted PlayStation streaming service that they've had like 3 different versions of pricing and this weird stuff. So yeah. We'll try to break it down.
Hit us up. You can comment again at PS Comics I Love You on Twitter. You can also email the show at pscomicsiloveyou@gmail.com. There it is, right there below. Social media: PS Comics I Love You on Twitter, PS Comics I Love You on Instagram and Facebook. You can search us out on YouTube, Twitch.tv. Check us out. And of course, you can listen to our podcast on all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Anchor.fm, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And Spotify will also put a question of the day. And I think what'll be our question of the day this week? What should we put on there? I'm wondering. You know what? Talk about WrestleMania. What was we put it on our Instagram account, but we'll do it again on Spotify. What was your favorite WrestleMania matches of all time?
Yep.
And let us know, and we'll, if we see any responses back, we'll post them. Thanks,
Yeah, man.
guys, for staying up late with us. I really enjoyed doing this on a Saturday night. Gives a little bit more freedom, and we promise we won't wait another like 3 weeks to do a regular episode. But do join us next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday,
Mhm.
8 o'clock. We talk about Moon Knight. It'll be Moon Knight episode 3 coming up this Wednesday. It looks like it's going to be a good one. I think we're going to get a little bit of backstory on Mark Spector and Stephen Grant.
Yep.
And maybe we'll learn a little bit about how the spirit of Khonshu infested our hero. He is Jared Kambakungan at also not Jared Comics 42 on Instagram. Of course, we will get. I swear, I will get the link to your eBay account on our link tree soon. But also, don't forget you can like and subscribe to my social media accounts. Now, of course, I won't be posting any comic books there anytime soon until CGC lets my comic go.
Mhm.
And at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms.
We'll definitely talk.
What's that?
We'll definitely talk more on a gaming sense too. Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Saturday? Yeah, next weekend.
So, thanks, guys, so much for staying up late with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we will see you on Wednesday with Moon Knight.
Let's go.
Peace out, my brothers.
Peace.
In broadcast.
Oh, no.